So my name is Tron Sattler LeBlanc, and I'm the Associate Director here at the Center for Women and Gender. And I have been here for about 5 years now. It started off as the Women Resource Center in 1993, and the story I have heard has been that it actually came about from students, and students being concerned that women were really underrepresented on our campus. They still are. And they wanted some additional supports on campus to help them. And since then, we became the Women's Center. And more recently, we retitled ourselves into the Center for Women and Gender. And I'm called the Associate Director, but I call myself an instigator, whether it's providing outreach and education, helping our students to think critically about a lot of the information they're getting, as well as providing information about a lot of the information they don't get growing up. We have a tough time in our society talking about sex, sexuality, identity, and orientation. And so this is really the time in a lot of our lives when we're starting to think about that and talk about it.
And do you feel like in your time here you've really seen the center have an impact on the community?
You know, we provide a lot of support through advocacy and direct services to students through counseling, so we certainly know that our students are more comfortable in reporting when things are not working, and I think that's a very good sign. You know, when the Women's Center first came on board, we actually had a Department of Justice grant for 9 years, so I think that's really helped to set the culture here on RIT's campus, and so there's a good knowledge, and students, again, I think they do feel comfortable reporting. It's never easy. But I think we've got systems in place that really help our students, and I think that we're actually, as a campus, far ahead of a lot of other campuses. What else? The other thing that I think that we've been doing since I've joined, I think we've sort of brought up the profile of talking about topics around sexuality. Our culture is very repressed about sexuality to the point that we're obsessed with it. And, you know, students can get their information from the internet, but we're trying to help students be more critical. And so we have some large programs that I think bring students out in great numbers and helps them to talk about all of these topics in ways that are probably more informed and nuanced than maybe before. One of our favorites is I Heart Female Orgasm, and that was actually a student who came in and said, oh my gosh, they did this at my community college, it was great, and then back in my mind I was thinking, you're crazy, we're never going to bring that to this campus. But conditions over the next couple of weeks and months, there was an opportunity at some meetings, and I suggested we bring it. We brought it to campus. Every time we bring it to campus, we fill Engel Auditorium and potentially violate fire codes. So we have students lined up all the way through the Student Alumni Union, and I know students talk about it all year long.
Do you ever get pushback from any groups on campus?
You know, it's interesting. I think we have gotten some pushback in the past from, I would refer to them as more of the grown-ups, not necessarily the students, the people who work on campus, maybe faculty members who may not understand why we do what we do, why we would need to have a program called Sex Ed Boot Camp or I Heart Female Orgasm. Students are here to learn. They're here to go to class, but you know, we provide this education. There's a lot of reasons we do this, but you know, students are growing as whole persons, and you know, number one, part of the reason we have to do this is because no one talks to them about it for about 18 years. When I go into classes and I ask students to describe their sex education in 5 words or less, it's usually like sparse, self-taught, awkward but thorough, but it's all over the place. And you know, students are human beings, and part of their existence is their sexuality, and if they're not comfortable in talking about it themselves, how are they going to talk about it with someone else that they might want to get to know better? And you know, we certainly know that the cost of that can be pretty difficult, with whether it's, you know, sexual misconduct or violations or harassment on campus, to just even their personal health and wellness and stress.
If you had one thing, like one sentence that you would say to anybody who had been thinking about dropping in, what would you say?
I think the most difficult thing is just going through the door the first time, but pretty much every student who's stopped in realizes this is a great place for everyone.